He turned to the center of the chamber. The floor was tiled with designs and occult symbols meant to contain whatever came through. A cage of geometry and spellwork binding a summoned creature in place until released. Lazen raised his hands toward the empty air and began to chant. The symbols in the tiles started to glow. He rocked back and forth, captive to the spell's rhythm. Raytex watched the old cultist work, torn between hope and dread. Afraid Folok might not appear, more afraid he would, and prove uncontrollable. Raytex lifted the Draku stone, ready to use its power against the demon if he had to. Amatel tugged at the chain that held her captive. She knew she was meant to be the sacrifice. She strained to pull the chain free from the bolt set into the stone wall, but it would not budge. The portal began to form. The glowing symbol seemed to climb up from the tiles, weaving into a tearing seam in the world. A harsh light, like fire seen through smoke, spilled outward. The chamber rumbled as if the mountain itself had begun to grow, and the fabric of the world split open, shaping a passage into the other world as the way for Folok was ripping into being. A deep voice called through the portal.
Who calls to me? Speak.
Lazen turned and looked wide-eyed at Radix. The moment that Radix dreaded had come upon him, he hesitated to reply. Raytex spoke in a frightened squeak.
I call the mighty Folok.
Again the deep voice sounded.
What do you want of me?
I ask you to slay my
enemies. They are about to come against me.
Suddenly Radix saw a creature beginning to appear in the portal.
What do you offer me in return for my services?
Raytex now felt emboldened and pointed to Amatel.
Take this young kobold as a sacrifice. You have my interest. Tell me more.
A loud crack sounded. The stone entry into the chamber shattered. Raytex spun around as a paladin holding a red fiery sword stepped through the opening into the chamber. He called out to Folok.
Help me now, demon.
The portal began to glow with a deep fire.
Give me the sacrifice and open the demon gate.
As Radix was about to command Lazen to push the kobold into the portal, he smelled a strange odor and saw purple mist was swirling about him. He turned and saw the Witch of Masks floating in the air next to the paladin. She held a jar from which purple mist came. Radix felt sleepy and his body seemed to float away. He tried to call to Lazen to open the portal, but Lazen lay on the floor as if a dead man. Too late, he thought as he fell to the floor, clutching the Draku stone to his hairy beast in a deep sleep. Blyn Terrell gasped when she saw her missing assistant, Amatel, asleep next to the spellcaster who was opening the portal. She saw the demon inside the red fire cage. When the demon Folok saw that a paladin and the others had entered the chamber and prevented the cultists from opening the demon gate, he began to screech out his foul anger. The Enhartress knew of his spell from the wizards who created her, and she went to the cage and commanded, "Folok, go back to hell." With a final scream, the demon looked with vile hatred at the Enhartress and cried,
I will wait for you at the gates of hell.
Then he was gone and the fiery cage disappeared. The Enhartress felt her demon blood burn in her, and she desperately fought against her desire to follow Folok into the raging fiery pit. She sat weakly on the floor, her head covered by her claws. She realized then that the demon had power over her and had nearly overcome her with his evil. Kira came up to Blyn Terrell. I am ready for the mask. Blyn Terrell reached into the pouch that she wore over her shoulder and took out a shimmering silver mask. Kira took the mask and went over to Raytex. She waited for a moment as Zala took the Draku stone out of Raytex's claws. Then Kira slid the mask over the hairy creature's head. They all stood around Raytex to see what Ratex to see what was going to happen. As they waited, Kira worried that the mask magic might not work on Ratex. She turned to ask Blynn, who had gone to her assistant, Amatel, and was holding her head off the floor. What is supposed to happen now? Kira heard a muffled sniff, and she turned to see Rat's nose squinching and wiggling. As Ratex continued twitching, they watched in amazement as he began to transform back into an elf. Even the rags that hung on Ratex were transformed. They stood quietly around a tall, white-haired elf. Kira asked in a whisper, "Who are you?" The elf smiled.
You know me as Zatar.
Kira brightened and said to the others, "Xtar is back." After everyone finally left the chamber, following after Xtar, a red glow reappeared. The portal was left open. Through the portal, a silver-haired woman creature stepped into the chamber and disappeared in the darkness of the corridor. Uh-oh.